Alright, what is up? Welcome back. Boom, setting a timer because let's give you a little life update here. I'm trying to bake some scones, and according to the recipe, they gotta chill in the fridge for about 15 minutes before I bake. So that's all. In that 15-minute time period, I'm going to work on this one, and then talk about some stuff. I'm going to take my sweater off because it's toasty. And yeah, let's get into it. So last night, I was working on that AE1 program that's been giving me fits, and I was up pretty late doing that. The video for that should be coming out soonish. But afterwards, I was brushing my teeth, finishing up the night, watching a YouTube, and I watched a video posted by Light Heavyweight Champ. This is just gonna be me talking about UFC stuff while I resolder the board, FYI. So that's not your cup of tea. Feel free to click off. I'm gonna actually. I feel like this would be best if I kind of had this more secure. I think that should be okay. Yeah, so light heavyweight champ of the UFC, Jamahal Hill, was recently injured. He had his Achilles tendon ruptured. And that's like a pretty big deal. Like, that's a bad injury. And apparently it happened, allegedly, while he was playing a basketball game during fight week for UFC 290. So that's kind of insult injury there, quite literally. It was not during training, it wasn't during anything, it was during a UFC sponsored event. And so he's doing like kind of the cool thing that Yuri Prochazka did last year when Yuri Prochazka was injured with one of the worst shoulder injuries of all time, and he's vacating the belt to allow someone else, or two other people I suppose, the opportunity to fight, because I think the most generous timeline for recovery from an Achilles tendon rupture is like a year, and that's like being generous and optimistic. So I think that's kind of a cool move. I think it kind of sucks because, you know, he's very, very young in his career, and to be kind of faced with that like pretty substantial setback just kind of blows. I like him a lot as a fighter. I think he's like, I didn't like him at first because I thought he was a little one-dimensional. Like watching his knockout of OSP was like, I don't know, it was interesting. I wasn't like, the second coming. I was like, okay, he can box and he can thump pretty good. And then since then though, his knockouts of Johnny Walker was incredible. His knockout of, who's the other guy he finished? I think was it Jimmy Crute? I think he finished Jimmy Crute, which was also pretty remarkable. And he's just kind of proven himself to be a really good fighter. So, kind of a bummer to see that happen, but on the same vein, it's nice that he did what he did, because it gives other people the opportunity to fight for the belt. And now my thought would be, alright, so who should fight for the belt? Obviously the big fight coming up is Alex Pereira moving up to 205, fighting with son of a bitch, Jan Blachowicz, who was the previous champion before he lost to Glover Teixeira, and then Glover Teixeira subsequently lost to Jamahal Hill. So that would make sense, like logically, that Jan would be kind of next because he's up there, like he's really talented and this, that, and the other. The only like problem is the Alex Pereira is because he hasn't really done anything at 205 in the UFC. I don't think he's had any fights at 205 in MMA, maybe in kickboxing, but I don't know. So that's kind of the thought. Where the hell are all of these wires coming from? And where the hell do they all go? Yep, there's just as many over there. So that's kind of the thought, is that that'll be like a number one contenders match or something like that. Now, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go down. I would presume my money would be on Jan Blachowicz, just because I feel like he's more proven in that weight class. I'm not saying like I think he's definitely going to win, because like Alex Pereira just won the championship from somebody that everyone thought was going to beat him. So I'm like, he can do some pretty incredible things, and he's proven that time and time again. But I don't know, I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are, because he did just get knocked out not too long ago. And I think it's a very quick turnaround. On top of that, I think he's old, battle tested, stuff like that. So I don't know. The other thought too is Ankalaev, Magomed Ankalaev, and basically Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz previously fought for the title in, I think it was like last December or something like that, and it was a very terrible fight. Apparently, I've not watched it, but not heard good things. And the idea behind that was the winner would become the champion, but because it was a draw, neither one ended up winning. And there's really not been much word of Ankalaev since that fight. I think he was pretty disappointed. A lot of people thought he won. I think at the time even Jan Blachowicz thought that Ankalaev won, which isn't a good look. But he's kind of pieced out. I don't know what his deal is. So I'm not like, I don't know. Jan made him look human though. The leg kicks were pretty much a game changer from what I remember. Okay, so basically I have a window right there, and I can see that my neighbors are standing on a chair outside the window trying to access something and just making the most amount of noise. It's fantastic. I love living here. Anyway, Jesus Christ. I think they might have locked themselves out. And they're trying to break in through the window. That's funny. Got about 5 minutes left. So let me round up my thoughts. I'm just about done with this little project here. Okay, I think that's about as good as that's going to get for now. I could be wrong about the solder points on this, but I will work on that a little bit later. For now, I think that's kind of where we're at. So yeah, basically, UFC light heavyweight division is a little fucked right now, and it's not like in a bad position. I think if anything, it's an improvement, because for the longest time, for like the last 6 months, really, the question and concern has been what is going on. Like, Jamahal Hill was supposed to be fighting. I mean, can we make more noise, please? Jamahal Hill was supposed to be fighting Yuri Prochazka, and that kept getting delayed because Yuri was injured, and then this just coming out about Jamahal Hill. It's not a good look, to be honest. Like, it's unfortunate. No two ways around it. So there's plenty of people in the division that are like, they've all kind of fought each other, or like there's enough new interesting matchups. I think Alex Pereira moving up is an improvement because he was just a champion, adds a new wrinkle to the division, all this stuff. So Alex Pereira fighting Jan Blachowicz, I think winner of that sits out and fights Yuri when Yuri comes back, and then that's for the championship. I think that'd be great. and then Ankalaev can fight the loser of that or something of that sort, and be like the first title defense. That's my thought. I don't know if that's actually going to happen because honestly, who knows? But you know, them's my thoughts. I'm gonna put the scones in the oven now because I think we're just about done. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I'm probably gonna need to resolder this and or get a new board. I thought this board would work, but this is like the OG board, and then this is the like second iteration of the board from what I could tell based off of this much Googling. And basically, as I mentioned this before, all of the inputs come in here and kind of get cycled through and feed into the galvanometer here. Okay, so I should be reading nothing. I'm not getting nothing off of this. Battery could potentially be close to being dead, which is fine. I'll put a new one in. I don't know what they do up there, but it's just like noise all day, every day, and it is causing me pain. Very excited to not have to live here because then I can finally get work done in peace. But it's okay. I'm pretty stoked about the current situation. It's just every now and again I'm like, can we make less noise all of the time, please? Last night they were like also doing some stuff. They were like, I don't know, orchestrating a symphony or some shit. I'm just sitting down here and like, please let me sleep. let me live. Okay, boop. Alright, so that is not the issue. The battery is still fresh. I don't know what the hell's going on. Probably gonna have to readdress all of this anyway. So really, what we have here is a complete and utter waste of your time, especially if you don't like MMA or the UFC. So you're welcome for that. I don't really know what to tell you. I guess I'll let you know how the scones come out. I'm gonna toss those in the oven in a minute, and then they'll bake for, I think it's like 24 minutes. So very specific number, I know, but that's what the recipe says. So I'm gonna give that a rip. Hopefully it turns out okay, and if not, life goes on. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it as always. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and maybe one day I will make a video that accomplishes something, but today is not that day. So thank you so much. Catch you on the next one.